Mystery reading. What will your reading tell you today? Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading is a mystery reading. So I was looking at all of the different topics that I have saved, and Spirit was just like, no, this is a mystery reading. You're just going to sit down and you're going to say what comes up. And I was like, okay. So we're going to get 3 cards right here on camera. And I did feel called to the Angel Answers deck for this. So we're going to get 3. I see these 2 and... yeah, okay, that one. All right, so for group number 1, and I will have a top-down shot of this as well at the end of the intro if you guys want a closer or longer look at that. So group 1 is no need to worry. Okay, so that's for group 1. Group number 2 is a no, very clear and emphatic no. Timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, or you can use the chapter notes as well. You have remain positive for group number 3. Okay, so those are the 3 groups, and I will leave the images of them up if you guys want to take a look at that, and we'll see you in your readings. All right, hi group number 1. Welcome to your mystery reading. Let's find out what the message is for you today. So you guys chose the no need to worry card, and I think what I want to do first before we even pull any more cards is to just kind of tune in and see what I'm getting energetically from Spirit and what they want to focus on today. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, so the first message I'm getting is about spiritual expansion. I feel like you are being called to trust right now. The message about no need to worry is part of that. Spirit wants you to know that everything's going to be okay, that things are going to unfold in a very divinely guided way. You don't see all of it yet, but there's a very clear and structured plan is kind of what they're telling me and they're showing me. So there's something about the way that this is unfolding that feels uncomfortable to you because it's calling you to sort of surrender and let go of your need for control or knowing, and to just kind of dive into the unknown with that faith in Spirit. It's very hard to do. I fully understand, and I know, like, I'm literally right there with you right now as we speak. And this has been a message that Spirit's been bringing to me as well. So yeah, we're kind of in the same boat, or at least we're on like adjacent boats, group number 1. And Spirit wants you to know that they just said your will be done as well. So it's partially your will, or maybe you set this into motion in the past and it's a desire that you had or something you wanted to manifest or create in your life. And they're saying, don't worry, if you surrender and have trust, this is all going to work out. So let's get some information about that. I'm feeling right away that I want to jump into the tarot. And this is specifically the tarot of the divine. So okay, we have the King of Coins. If this is to do with money, if you're worried about money, they're saying don't worry about that. It's going to be taken care of is what I just heard. It's going to be taken care of. And I know that this can feel really hard. Like I'm literally, like I said, I'm right there with you right now. Spirit had me transition my business, completely rebrand, change the way that I work with clients, pull back my energy, change all my prices. Like they had me do so many things to protect me energetically and from what I was going through. And it's actually put me into like financial hardship and constraints. And they've been telling me like, you need to relax. You need to not worry about this. We know that you're having a hard time. We understand that there's fear there, but it's like, it's all part of this plan. It's all part of this divine structure. And I'm seeing the same thing here for you, group number 1. That's why they're having me share this information, because I don't want to share it willingly. I'm actually like a little bit embarrassed about it, to be honest, because this is the first time in my life that I've ever been in this financial position where I don't feel like I can sustain myself, but they're teaching me a lesson here. And they've told me that very clearly through the meditations. Like I talk to my spirit guides every day. I talk to my higher self. I communicate with Spirit, not just in these readings, but as like a lifestyle. And they've told me, this is part of the plan, and you're developing this trust, you're developing this foundation, and you're developing this level of stability that will be unshakable once you get through this period of constriction. So again, I would not be talking about this in a reading with you, group number 1, unless they were kind of like, not forcing, but channeling it through me. You know what I mean? Because I get into a channeling mode when I'm doing readings. So anyway, money don't worry about it, group number 1. Don't worry about it. I see these 2 cards as well. The High Priestess. They're like, trust your intuition, let go, surrender, see the bigger picture. There are certain things that you're not being given information about right now. They just said you're not privy to. Yeah, there's things that you're not privy to. And that's why they want you to follow your intuition, but your intuition isn't necessarily going to give you all the information. That's what the High Priestess is all about. She hides things behind the veil. She's the keeper of secret and sacred knowledge. And I feel like you have a conduit to this information through how you feel or those little nudges and prompts that you get from spirit, but they're not going to give you the whole game plan. You know what? They just showed me, like a football coach who sits down their team during halftime and they get like that whiteboard out and they start drawing X's and O's and like little arrows all over. They were like, Spirit's not telling you the game plan, group number 1. And there's a reason for that. There's something about will that's involved here. And it's like the willingness to surrender is a huge part of this spiritual growth lesson. And it does feel like a lesson because that's, I know for me, what's going on. Okay, let's take a look at your other card. You have the Hermit. Wow. Okay. So it is challenging you to go inward. It is challenging you to develop this level of wisdom, is what they just told me. You're developing a level of wisdom through trusting the path blindly. That's word for word what they just told me. Yeah, it's tough. I know. But they really want you not to worry. That's why they brought you to this reading, because when we go through this third dimensional reality and we see like, oh my God, my bank account is dwindling and I need to pay rent and I've got to buy groceries and all this stuff, it's hard to trust at that point. It's very hard, but they're like, this is part of it. This is kind of like what we signed up for. And I say we, because again, same boat. But the Hermit card here is challenging you, testing you to find that inner strength and inner resolve to continue, to persist, to keep going, despite the fear, despite the worry, despite the doubt, because I think that's a really big one, is the doubt because of the lack of knowledge. And they're showing me in my mind actually what happened yesterday. I was out driving and it was really foggy. I couldn't see very far ahead, and one of my headlights is out too. Again, I don't have the money to fix it right now, but so I was having a really hard time seeing in the dark, and they were like, "It's okay, just slow down. Just slow down. If you can't see what's ahead, slow down, but keep going in that direction. You know the direction you're meant to be going. You can follow the lines on the road, even if you can't see 100 feet ahead. You can at least see 10, 20 feet ahead." And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is they're not going to give you the entire game plan, but they're going to give you enough information that you can keep going and you will get to your destination. But they do want you to slow down as a part of this. I mean, literally, we have this turtle here in the King of Pentacles card. They want you to really go slow, like so slow that there's moss growing on its back. And I know how challenging that can be, because we want to speed up. We want to see progress. We want to get results quickly, especially when we're in this state of insecurity, financially or physically. But they're like, it's the opposite that's going to help you feel more secure. They want you to slow down and they want you to take that time to introspect. The Hermit is very introspective. He likes his solitude so that he can tune in and feel into the inner wisdom. And that inner wisdom is the High Priestess. You have access to this, group number 1. Whether you're a psychic or you're not, or whatever, everyone has intuition. And our intuition speaks to us in different ways. It's very subjective, but you have it nonetheless. And they want you to tune into that and trust it. And use that knowledge or that wisdom that you're getting from the intuition, or that you're getting from your inner guidance system, to help you to combat those moments of distrust, fear, worry, doubt, insecurity, etc. Okay. I'm going to keep going with this deck, actually. We have the Hanged Man reversed. First of all, you have 3 major arcana out of the 4 tarot cards that we have on the table here. And this tells me that this is, like I said, a big soul level lesson. The major arcana represents these very pivotal points in our journey, in our character development. If we're looking at this as a story of our lives, these are major plot points in our character's growth. And so they do factor in greatly to who we become and how that unfolds in terms of what we experience in life. So I do see that this is very good in the long run. It's very good, even though it feels challenging right now and there's worry about it. They're like, no, it's actually going to serve you very, very well if you can just kind of surrender and relax. Now, it's interesting because the Hanged Man reversed here. The Hanged Man upright in this case, I would feel like it's uncomfortable. I don't want to be in this hanging position. I want to get down. I want to get moving. I'm worrying about what needs to happen, so I want to go, go, go. But in the reverse position, I'm getting this very serene energy from it. Like, okay, I guess I can just relax. If I know that I need to slow down because it's foggy out, I can just kind of relax and go with the flow and listen to my music and just kind of putt my way along because I know I'm going to get there. It's kind of just enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride, get grounded, get anchored, go inward, just become very connected is what it feels like. Yeah, become very connected because that's going to help in the overall unfolding of the outcome that you want. And in this case, really what I see is the outcome that you need as well, group number 1. Okay, I do feel this card. You've got the 6 of Wands, victory. They're like, if you just trust and you just surrender and you just move a little bit more slowly and you enjoy this process, even though it feels uncomfortable because you're moving into the unknown, it will be victorious. You will be successful. This will pay off. This will pay off. And I just heard it in spades. And these spears kind of even almost look like spades. It will pay off in spades. And now they're showing me an actual spade, like a shovel, like a flat shovel. Oh, they said, what do you use a spade for? And I was like, digging. And they were like, what do you dig for? And I was like, gold. You dig for gold. You dig for treasure. It's almost like they're leading you. Okay, they're taking me back to the image of the football coach writing the X's and O's on the board. And they were like, what about the X's? Well, X marks the spot. So there's something that is very valuable that you're moving toward, group number 1. And Spirit is helping to guide you there. Your intuition is helping to guide you there. Your desires and your will are moving you along this path. But it does require you to sense into it, feel into it. This path requires you to be very intuitive because what they're showing me now is like a divining rod. Okay, those sticks that kind of look like a Y and you hold on to either end of the stick. And apparently this was used as a way to feel into energy or to find water. I think that's the folklore around it. I don't know if that actually works, but what I'm getting from this intuitively, what this represents is, again, you following your intuition. It's like you're using this divining rod to find this treasure. It's like having a metal detector. So you kind of have to slow down. You have to scan everything and you'll get a little boop, 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 boop. And then you go that way. It's like hot or colder, the game getting warmer, getting colder. And so you're constantly kind of testing and feeling into the environment, which is why it's important that you slow down, because if you're rushing, you're going to miss those little signals and it's easier to get off path, which in that case, you're still going to get to where you're going, but you might have to double back a few times and it's going to be more of a convoluted route, which is the opposite of what you want. That's going to prolong the worry and they don't want that for you. So if you just kind of understand and accept that this lesson is what it is, you'll do better at it. It's like if you can understand the game that you're playing, you can win it. And that's the game that you're playing right now, group number 1, is that you need to trust your intuition and feel into it for each new step because you are in the fog. But that's the point of this lesson. You can't wish the fog away because that would devalue the treasure that you're looking for. It's like you kind of need to play the game to win the prize, But you're going to be successful. So just try to relax, tune into your intuition and follow that one step at a time, feeling as you go along. Okay, now they want me to jump into a different deck. So we're going to get the herbal medicine deck. Yeah, I feel that one. I feel like there's more though. And I just want to jump into them and get them. Yeah, that one. And that one. Okay, so we got 3. Let's see. Mandrake, sensuality. Okay. Using your senses. That's kind of what I'm feeling here still. Same message. It's like using your senses, using your intuition, because your senses can really be a good conduit for your intuition. If you haven't watched my What is Intuition video, and I also did a matching reading with that, which was all about how you can tap into your specific intuition, I would check those out. If I can remember, I'll try to link them in the description box. Future editing, Siobhan. Write that down. Okay. And then you have joy. Hibiscus with joy. And tobacco offering. Okay. So group 1, what these oracle cards are telling me is actually that they want you to follow your joy. Yes, it's your intuition that's leading you here, but it's almost like the joy is the little beep, beep, beep that of the metal detector. That's how you know which direction to go. So if you feel joy in this direction, go that way. If this feels like less joy, that's the wrong way. You're getting colder. Go towards the joy. Follow that. That's going to be the offering that you're making. Interestingly enough, it's like you're offering yourself more opportunities to have joy, which unlocks deeper layers of your intuition, which gives you more wisdom to follow this path. And it's going to create abundance for you. And stability, like if it's not money that you're worried about, if it's health or stability in some other way, that's going to be the treasure. It's going to be something that gives you this sense of stability, whether it's a sense of satisfaction that you're getting from the joy or the work that you're doing, or it's a sense of security within yourself because you can trust your intuition to guide you in the right direction, or it's a sense of security in your finances, your resources, or your physical health, whatever it happens to be for you. Take it as it resonates. These are general readings, but you're always drawn to these readings for a reason, and Spirit will deliver the messages that most apply to the group of souls that are drawn to this particular energy. So you're meant to be offering up this joy because that's what leads you to success. So follow that sensuality, what feels like it elicits joy in your body. What does joy feel like for you? If you're not even familiar with that, maybe it's been all work, no play. They really want you to reconnect with what brings you joy. So I want you to ask yourself that right now, group number 1. What does bring you joy? What does light you up? What do you find fun? If you feel comfortable sharing, leave it down in the comments below. Let us know. Let's get a conversation going about joy. Let's discuss, For me, what brings me joy is doing these readings. I love doing these readings. I love it. I also love watching funny movies. That brings me a lot of joy. I love reading Harry Potter over and over and over again, even though I've read it a million times. Brings me joy. I love writing. I love singing. I love dancing. All of those things bring me joy as well. I've even taken to rapping. So I want you to explore, rather, Spirit wants you to explore your enjoyment, group number 1, whatever that is for you. And it could be very different to mine. It could be similar. I don't know. You know yourself best. But they're saying they want you to discover this because the joy is the guiding force that leads you to the treasure. And the joy is a treasure in and of itself. So it's a win-win situation. Not only are you enjoying the journey, but you're also going to enjoy the outcome of the journey, the destination. Yeah. Okay, they said they want me to get another card from the Angel Answers deck. So let's do that. Group numero 1. Oh. Okay, we have 2. It says reconsider on this one. And you also have the situation will improve. Okay, so again, they're saying don't worry, the situation will improve. I want to ask about the reconsider card. So let me actually get a clarifier. What do you want me to get a clarifier from, Spirit? Oh, they said just look at the card. Okay. Okay, the first thing that's standing out to me, this is how I use my intuition, is I feel, I sense, but I also see very clearly. And so sometimes what they'll do is they'll highlight a particular symbol. In this case, they highlighted the sword. In my mind, it jumped out at me like it was 3D and the rest of the image was 2D. And the sword feels to me like a sword of truth. And so this is like inner clarity. and consideration. And I think you reconsidering things that bring you joy and things that don't. It's kind of like you're weighing up what feels like joy to me and how is that connected to my truth. And the sword also to me represents decision making. So it's the ability to think clearly and to discern what is for you. This is also what helps you to use your intuition effectively. If we don't have discernment, we can easily misinterpret the intuitive symbols or synchronicities or signs that we're getting or feelings. So we have to learn to use the logical mind in tandem with the more holistic intuitive mind to be able to combine efforts and see that result in the sense that we have a little bit more clarity. Not all of the clarity that you're desiring, but enough to be able to move at least 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with this card, with the sword and the angel here, it looks like Archangel Michael. So you may be someone who works with Archangel Michael, or they're calling you to work with Archangel Michael. So maybe calling and asking for Archangel Michael's support in this process, i.e. Archangel Michael, clear my path, make it very clear for me so that I can read my intuitive signs and find my direction towards my goal. That's the channeled message that literally you just watched that happen in real time, so I don't think I need to explain it, but that was all just channeled through. So maybe something like that doesn't have to be word for word, but they're showing me like make a prayer, say a prayer, set the intention. Swords are also about intention and thought. So when you're saying something in your mind, when you're saying a prayer out loud, it doesn't have to be verbal, but it's the intention behind it. It's the thought behind it that gives it power. This is where your free will is combined into this goal or into this process. It's not your free will in forcing the result. It's your free will in how you choose to move towards that. So definitely use your intention, set those things in motion at the mental level, say it out loud, write it down, or just request support or assistance from the archangels, specifically Michael in this case, if that resonates with you. Okay? Is there anything else, Spirit, that you want to tell to group number 1? Anything else? Okay, they're taking me back to the tobacco card. What did I miss here? So I feel like I just got high. That was so weird. So I looked at this card and I tuned into it, and clairvoyantly what I was seeing was this ritual, this ceremony is more sort of accurate, rituals and ceremonies are kind of the same thing, but what they were showing me was this offering up of the intention through the ritual or through the ceremony, through that prayer or that form of communion, because that's what the other word that they gave me was communion, like communing with spirit, working more directly with spirit as like a member of your team. And that being, again, supportive of you accessing your intuition. Now, the reason that it felt like I got high was when I looked at this card, I had my eyes open, but I was seeing her very, like, again, 3D. It's like this individual on the card was here with me in this moment. And I saw her open her eyes and she looked right into my soul. And it was like, whoa. It was very intense. So the energy of tobacco, for whatever reason, may be something like nicotine specifically, because I know in ancient ceremonies they would have the peace pipe, right? And they would smoke the raw tobacco out of the peace pipe and they would pass it around, and that was like a ceremony. Now that's kind of what they were showing me in my mind when they were saying ritual, or they were talking about the ritual. So something like that maybe. But I also felt, okay, like I don't smoke and I don't really do like any substances at all. I'm like perma-high just from being a medium and like being psychic. So I don't need to alter my consciousness any more than it already is. But I did smoke in my teen years. I know it's so bad, you guys, but I was a rebel without a cause. At least now I'm a rebel with a cause. But I used to smoke, and it gives you a bit of a head rush. And that's what I felt when I was looking at this card. It was like a head rush, and I kind of like got high for a moment, and like my senses got really heightened. So there's something about tobacco or nicotine specifically. Now, I'm not recommending going out and smoking a pack of cigarettes. Please don't do that. It's cancer causing. We know that. There's science. Like, just no, don't do it. But there's something about like small doses of nicotine not done in a habitual way that can be very stimulating to the mind. They're showing me neurons firing in a different way. Even having like a little piece of nicotine gum or something like that. This is so crazy. I would never have expected this message. Okay. Yeah, and it's not about the addiction. Like if you're addicted to this, it's not going to work for you because that's a dependent energy. They want it to be very liberating in the sense that you're using it for that stimulation one time in a connection to that plant, to that herbal medicine. And it's like a sacred form of communion. That's what they keep telling me. It's a sacred form of communion. So it's kind of like along the same lines as when you do mushrooms or ayahuasca. I've never done ayahuasca. I've never done like super intense hallucinogens like that. But I've heard people talk about it and they say, you want to commune with Mother Ayahuasca or Mother Peyote or whoever. You're connecting, you're communing with the spirit of that plant medicine. You're not just taking it for the novelty of it. It's like a very sacred rite of passage. It's a sacred ritual. That's what they're showing me. And again, this is relating back to the high priestess and the hermit. It feels very much like this is an opportunity for you to get in touch with a whole nother layer of your being, a whole nother layer of your connection to your intuition and to the earth as well. Oh yeah, tobacco comes from the earth. The King of Pentacles is from the earth. So it may be using earthy substances like that to reconnect to your joy or to your sensuality, to reawaken and stimulate your mind and body in a new way. That's kind of what it feels like. Another side message, if somebody does smoke in this group, they want you to look at the underlying reason as to why there's an addiction there, and following your path to joy will give you more internal security and stability to be able to release that habit that doesn't serve you. Okay, so it kind of goes both ways depending on your nuanced situation. Okay, but either way, the situation will improve. That's really what I'm seeing here, group number one. And I think that's really the general message. Like from the very beginning, they were saying that there's no need to worry. That's the main message. They really don't want you to worry. And they're also telling you there's no need to worry because everything's going to be okay. The situation will improve. All that they want you to do right now and all that you're really responsible for is relaxing, surrendering, trusting the process, following your joy, and that leading you to the treasure, to your desired outcome, whatever that happens to be. Okay, so call on your angel guides, your spirit guides, your intuition, your higher self. Work with these ritualistic types of plant ceremony medicines, whatever calls to you. Like, I'm not a doctor and I can't recommend any of that stuff to you. Those are just the messages, so take it or leave it, okay? All right. Disclaimer out of the way. That is the reading. That is the message that I have for you, group number one. So I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. This brought me joy. Like I said, I love doing readings. So thank you for allowing me to do this work for you guys. And if you guys want to learn to read tarot for yourself, I'm offering Tarot 101. So this is a tarot class for beginners. It's going to be held live on Zoom January 3rd at 5 p.m. PST. And you can join in now to start learning about tarot and reading for yourself and others. We're going to be covering all the basic meanings, as well as how to work with tarot and enhance your intuition, how to really become more practically grounded in the symbolism and in the meanings of tarot, and really see that reflected in your daily life. So it's going to be very hands-on and a little bit interactive as well. So if you guys have questions, bring those to the class as well. So if you guys are interested, I will leave the link below to sign up, and also the early bird discount code. If you use that before December 15th, you do get 20% off. The code is down below in the description box as well. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number two. Welcome to your reading. You guys chose the No card. I'm very curious to find out what this is about, as it is a mystery message, and this reading is starting out very blunt. It's like, no, exclamation point, like not no period, no exclamation point. So this is a very intense no. So the first thing I do before we even jump into any of the cards, I'm just going to tune in energetically and see what the messages that I'm getting just intuitively, psychically. Okay, what I heard and what they're showing me is no, you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. I feel like you may have been doubting yourself. Maybe you lacked some proof of something, and you've kind of having to be operating on this very faith-based approach. And they're showing me that no, you're not wrong. And I think that there has been either some projections of doubt from other people creeping in, or maybe it's just your own mind doing that to you. But the angels specifically, because that's what I'm seeing here in this card, they're like, no, you're not wrong. Heaven does exist, New Earth is available to you now. 5D consciousness is a thing. Your ascension is happening. You are developing spiritually. You are advancing psychically. You are meant for more. Like these are the things that they're showing me. These are the things that I'm feeling in my body. So they're saying, really, this is about trusting yourself and really almost like doubling down on that belief and that faith. Going inward and trusting what you feel, trusting what you know to be true. Okay, let me see where they actually want me to go into this deck first. For you guys, we did it a little different for group number 1. Okay, I see 1 card, 2 cards, and no, yeah, that one. Okay, 3 cards. Let's see. You have Amanita with conduit. So Amanita muscaria. This is a very transcendent energy. You're like, you're channeling. If you've started channeling, if you've started like in meditations, receiving information from your higher self, your guides, the angels, they're like, no, you're not wrong. That's true. It feels like you might be experiencing some level of doubt, like, oh, this is just fantasy, or this is just make-believe. And you're right, it is fantasy, it is make-believe, but why does that make it any less real? It's like that quote that Dumbledore says to Harry when he's kind of in the in-between space when he dies temporarily. Harry asks, is this all just happening in my head? And Dumbledore goes, of course it's happening in your head, but why should that mean it's not real? That's what I'm seeing here, is that it's almost like the energy of being on mushrooms, right? Where you're hallucinating and it seems like it's not real, but you're actually just tapping into a higher level state of consciousness, and it's expanding your perception of reality. And so it does kind of warp your reality. It does distort things a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's not quote unquote real. It's just your perception of reality is expanding. And so even though it's not necessarily physically, tangibly real in the way that we're used to here in the 3rd dimension, it's still real in a existence sense. Does that make sense? I mean, trying to explain it as best I can. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting. And then you have ayahuasca rebirth. Holy shit. So you've got the Amanita and the ayahuasca. I was literally just mentioning these in group number 1. If you watch that reading, that could be additional confirmation for you, or maybe you're being drawn to it. If you feel intuitively called, I would check that out. But I'm seeing that with ayahuasca here as well, it's like you've been kind of questioning your reality. You're like, what's real? What's not real? Is what I'm seeing on the other side a form of reality, or I'm just making this up? And they're like, no, it is real. It is real. It's just a different state of consciousness. And there's multiple different dimensional layers. There's multiple different energy expressions, beings, entities, realms. Like, it's infinite, you guys. It is truly infinite. There's multiple universes. There's so many things in this world, in this reality, in this creation, that even just on God's green earth, like, that we really have not even scratched the surface of. Like, we have maybe hit the very tip of the iceberg, but there's fathoms and fathoms below that. And I think that you're just kind of starting to scratch the surface. And so maybe that's why it's kind of shaking up your reality a little bit. And maybe you don't have a sort of anchor point to really tell what reality is and what it is not. That's okay. This is a natural phase. This is a natural part of awakening. You can feel a little bit ungrounded when you start to expand your consciousness and open up to these new realms of thought and new territories of reality. You just need a new anchor point, basically. And that's why they're saying, no, you're not wrong. Don't doubt yourself. What you see and feel is real. Even if it's just subjective, that's still real for you, even if it's not objectively real. And as you are a creator being, whatever you experience becomes truth because you create it. So this kind of then comes down to, what do you want to create? And what are you saying yes to, or what are you choosing to believe in? Because if everything you create becomes true because you're a creator, then it becomes, what do you want to be true? And tuning into your imagination. I literally was just saying tuning into your imagination. As I flipped over the card, it's Poppy with dream. It's like you're entering into the dream state. And the dream realm is a real realm. That's a layer of the astral realm. That's a real place if we're looking at it like that. It's a reality in and of itself. And there's multiple layers to that, right? Like when we go into dreams at night, that's a layer. There's a higher layer of it, which is where you connect to your higher self and where you can meet your spirit guides. That's more of the lucid dreaming sort of territory. And then there's the lower layer, which is where nightmares and subconscious fears and distorted darker entities can exist, and like night terrors and stuff can happen down there. That's the lower astral realm. So there's many different layers within that, and there's many different dimensions outside of that and beyond that. It can feel a little overwhelming, but what they want you to do is just tune into what you're receiving and what you're connecting to. It is a very fantasy dream-like state that you're going through this rebirth because you're channeling and becoming a conduit to these higher, more expanded expressions of reality. And you exploring those new truths is really what Spirit is encouraging here. Okay, now they want me to go into the Divine Tarot to get some additional information for you, group number 2. So let's go. The Four of Wands, okay. I just heard mythology in my head. That's not at all what the Four of Wands is about. Why? What is up with that? Myths and legends, they said. Myths and legends. Something about myths and legends. And this is the Divine Tarot, by the way, guys. And a lot of the cards, I mean, the entire deck itself is built around these myths and legends and mythology. Oh, okay. They said there's truth in myths and legends. Yes, it is quote unquote fantasy, but all people who are channeling fantasy information are conduits. That's why you've got the conduit card. Yeah, so all fantasy has a basis in truth, and also from the other direction, anything that we're creating, because we're creator beings, becomes sort of like a reality in and of itself. There's layers within the astral realm where thought becomes things. So tulpas and positive thought forms and independent thought forms, either positive or negative, can exist there. So if we've believed in it, we've made it real, basically. At that higher dimensional, it's the fourth dimension is where thought lives. So we're in the third, which is physical. Then there's the fourth, which is thought. That's where like those astral layers reside. And then there's the fifth, which is connected to nature, unconditional love, higher level spiritual unity. And then there's the sixth, and it goes all to 12, and then it doubles into 24, and then it goes on into infinity. So yeah, that's why I think they want you to find some stability by exploring myths and legends, because there's stuff that you're getting intuitively, or maybe that you're channeling in these altered states through your dream realm or through hallucinations, through using certain substances. I can't recommend or condone those, just legally speaking, okay? So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if you are using, say, like mushrooms or ayahuasca or any kind of mind-altering substances, or just going into that dream state, you're going to be receiving information, and they want you to explore those archetypes. They want you to explore what those dreams represent or what those themes are trying to tell you. They keep bringing me back to myths. So this could be exploring different gods and goddesses, different mythology or lore. Could be exploring the fairy realm, since we have that here with the Amanita. Could be exploring religious texts about angels and heaven. There's definitely some truth in those, although some of it's distorted, but that's the case for anything, really. So you kind of have to not cherry pick, but you have to use an eye of discernment to really kind of determine what the truth is that's kind of buried in the rest of the stuff. Which is the same thing when you're doing dream interpretation. I saw the guy up in the corner there on the left as Zeus. So yeah, it feels like exploring mythology. It could be, I'm seeing like Indian or Hindu mythology important, Greek mythology. I just heard Roman mythology as well. And then you've got like Celtic mythology, South American mythology. Okay, so you have all of these different sort of realms or schools of thought. That's what they just said, schools of thought. And the more you dive into those, the more information you're going to get about these different realms of consciousness, and they're going to be expanding your consciousness. So the more information you acquire, and this is the perfect time for it. If you're watching this around the time that this video is debuting, it is a timeless reading, but I'm filming this in Sagittarius season, and Sagittarius is a sign or an energy that is very much concerned with expansion of the mind and journeying into the unknown and exploring things and learning and diving into these deeper realms and philosophy and expanding consciousness. So exploring other cultures through their mythology would be a wonderful real-time, real-life example of that. And that's what I'm seeing Spirit recommending here for you, because it's going to help you to, I think it will still lead you to question certain aspects of your beliefs and your faith, but it's also going to lead you to the direction that really does confirm what it is that you're receiving and what you're getting intuitively. So it is going to provide puzzle pieces for you where you will be able to eventually put them all together and look down and see the bigger picture. It's kind of like if you look at every single religion that's ever existed in the world, they're all very different, but they're all actually the same at the core. They're all very much talking about God and source and unity, for the most part. Even with what is it called when there's multiple gods? Oh man, I forget. Polytheistic? Is that what it's called? Yeah, monotheistic is one god, polytheistic is multiple gods. I think that's the right word. Anyway, I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say anyway. It's like, even if you're seeing religions or previous mythologies where there's polytheism and there's multiple different gods or goddesses, deities, archetypes, things like that, it still has a core theme to it. It still has a divine essence to it. It still comes from this source energy. So being able to explore these different realms of thought, they just keep telling me realms of thought, is really going to be helpful. Okay, I feel this card. King of Swords. Yeah, realms of thought. King of Swords is the master of the realms of thought. So makes sense. Thank you for confirming, Spirit. And so, yeah, they want you to learn. They want you to research. They want you to read. Specifically, they're showing me somebody reading books or reading posts or reading information in general. Maybe even like listening to certain things about these, about this religious or spiritual information. You have the High Priestess. It's going to help you to expand your own psychic abilities. It's going to show you these different archetypes within your soul, and it's going to heighten you as a conduit. So you are a natural channel, group number 2, and the reason why you are being called to these things is to really explore how you tap into and receive information and how you interpret that and how that kind of holds weight in your life. And they want you to explore these mythologies and these different deities and these different schools of thought, because it is going to help to develop you. Look, I was talking about reading and she's sitting there with a book. Okay, so again, confirmation. They want you to be researching, diving into these things, learning, listening, maybe even just channeling too. Like you could just sit down and say, what deities want to work with me right now for my greatest and highest good? What messages do you want to tell me? And going into that meditative or dreamlike state, hypnagogic state. I have such a hard time saying that word, hypnagogic, where you're in more of like an in-between state. You're not fully asleep, but you're also not fully alert and conscious. You've sort of slowed your brain waves down to be more in delta or theta, I think. Anyway, you're just in a state of receptivity is what I'm trying to say. And that's going to help to get you in this point of mind where you can receive this inspiration. And maybe you're even going to be called to write about it or channel it out. The King of Swords can be about communication, writing, speaking as well. And since we had that book reference, you might be like an author or somebody who's called to channel this information into new mythology or new fantasy or new schools of thought. But again, it's like it holds those grains of truth. And even though it's quote unquote fantasy, it's not, because again, you're channeling different dimensional planes of existence, different realms of consciousness, different beings that do exist, and you're creating as well. So very interesting. Yeah, I do feel like there's more cards in this deck. What else does group number 2 need to know about this? 3 of Coins. I feel like I need a clarifier on that one. Ouch, my arm. Okay. 3 of Wands, so 2 3s in a row, and they're clarifying each other. 3 3. So this is about ascension. I also want to get this one. You've got the moon, which is to do with dreams and the unconscious and channeling and being a conduit. So yeah, this makes so much sense. It's also the realm of illusion and distortion and fantasy and all of the things that we've been talking about here. So they really want you to go into that dream realm, to go into these altered states of consciousness so that you can receive or connect to some of this information that will help to elevate you. It feels very ceremonial, very like a rite of passage almost. Rite of passage that's expanding your consciousness. And then you have the 2 of Wands. I'm getting like Roman mythology, Greek mythology. But yeah, it feels like you kind of need to open yourself up to these alternate viewpoints, because that, look at him, he's got 2 heads, he's in 2 minds about something. And in this case, it's not a bad thing. It's not saying you need to make a decision one way or the other. It's exploring the alternate views for the purpose of understanding that, for the purpose of expanding your mind, like doing this very intentionally, and not saying no to any information because it's all valuable. It all gives you context. It puts things in perspective, is what they just said. It puts things in perspective, especially if you're diving into these realms within yourself and you're needing something to kind of base that off of. What is this collective psyche thing that I'm tapping into through my dreams? What do these archetypal patterns represent? What is this teaching me about myself? How is this connected to the collective consciousness? How is this working to expand my consciousness and help me to ascend? You're going up the ladder. So fairy tales, mythology, religion, these are the type of things that they want you to explore, because it's going to give you these varied displays of reality, these varied perspectives that are helping you to ascend and expand. We have the 6 of Cups. Ooh, I just got a book recommendation for you guys. Let me go grab it. One sec. I'll show it to you. Okay. I've recommended this book on my channel before, but I haven't talked about it in a while, and it specifically just popped in my head, and that's how Spirit delivers messages when I'm doing readings, and just in my general life too. So this is the book that I'm recommending, Women Who Run with the Wolves. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. This is a fantastic book. It dives into the psychology of myth, especially as it relates to the wild woman archetype, which is about freedom, liberation, and embracing some of the more dark feminine aspects or liberated feminine aspects. So yeah, it's myths and stories of the wild woman archetype. I highly recommend it. I haven't even read it all the way through. Like, as you can see, I'm about a quarter, and I've had to put it down because it's so deep and intense that it's almost like I have to integrate a lot before I can move to the next one. But I'm also a Gemini rising, so I kind of bounce from book to book, and I don't finish each one, and then I'll kind of come back to it when I feel like it's ready. So I'm currently reading like 4 or 5 books. Anyway, I guess that kind of goes back to what I was seeing there for you guys as well. It's like you're going to be getting a lot of information from books, from stories, and they don't have to be mythology. They can be fantasy stories as well. But I'm specifically seeing a lot of like, like fictional stories and stuff like that could also be part of that too. Okay. What else, Spirit? Okay, the Lemuria deck. So we're going to get some cards from this deck for you, because that's what they've just said. Yeah, there's one more. One more. That one. Okay. The Violet Flame. Whoa. So the Violet Flame is to do with transmutation, group number 2. And I feel like you're doing some deep psychological, emotional healing through this process of discovering all of these different archetypes and all of these different mythologies and all of these different sort of schools of thought. I feel like you're doing a lot of deep emotional healing. You're doing a lot of, they're showing me somebody like uncovering stuff in the back of their mind. You're learning more about yourself. You're connecting more to the divine. You're connecting more to, again, your intuition and your psychic abilities. And you're transmuting, because that's what the violet flame does. It transmutes. So it helps you to heal. It helps you to purge. It helps you to take something that was of a lower vibrational density and transform it into something of a higher nature, higher vibrational frequency. And so it can be more useful that way. It feels like magical power. That's what I'm getting from this card. You also might want to explore stories to do with Lemuria and Atlantis specifically. I'm getting Atlantis really strongly for you guys. So that could be another area to sort of dive into. And then you have fire, Solaris Sublime. Solaris Sublime. Okay. Feels like activation codes. I think a lot of these stories are going to have activation codes in them for you, because they showed me the third eye in this card again as well, like the eye up at the top here. So there's something about, and the Solaris Sublime feels like fire as well. So you've got the violet flame and then this dragon fire. So it does feel like there's codes that are hidden or like seeded throughout these myths, these legends, these stories, these fictional books, this information. And it's like your soul has chosen those things as keys that unlock certain doors in your consciousness, in your unconscious, I should say, or your subconscious. And then as a result, it expands your mind and it gives you these alternate perspectives that allow you to raise your frequency. Because as you expand your consciousness, your frequency rises, because something that is constricted is closed off and condensed, and something that is expanded is higher vibrational because it's expanded, because it's opened up, because the frequency is faster. And that's why Spirit's recommending you do some of this reading, or you do some of this introspection, or you do some of this dream work. I did just get a message to journal your dreams as well. They've been kind of bringing this through periodically for certain groups of people in the readings lately. But yeah, that's what they're saying for you. Group number 2 is to journal your dreams. Keep like a notepad, a scratch pad, or a little journal next to your nightstand. And when you wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, write down, even if it's in point form, you don't have to go into like the whole story, but there's something about your dreams that you're going to get a lot of information from. And you're going to see those archetypal themes mirrored back to you through the collective unconscious of these mythologies and of these fantasies and of these different realms and realities and dimensions. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like you're opening up whole new worlds within yourself, and you're exploring all of those new worlds, and it's really expanding you, raising your frequency. Group number 2. So that's really exciting. I'm very happy for you to see that. And it looks fun too. You know, it's like you just kind of get to go on an adventure even without leaving your house. It's like you're either tuning in, or you're doing it in sleep, or you're doing it through reading or consuming this information. But yeah, it is. It feels like an adventure, but you're not even leaving your house, which is like, for an introvert like me, hashtag hermit, that's perfect. So I'll join you in that. I'll be on my end doing this research too. So I wish that we could have like a book club for spiritual people where we just kind of like talk about different spiritual concepts and stories and mythologies and themes. Like maybe one week we would explore the Bible, the next week we would explore like some other sacred text or some other mythology or some other story or some fiction. I don't know. That would be cool, right? Let me know. Maybe in the future I'll start something like that. We could have like a once monthly get together and like discuss a particular theme. Anyway, just a thought. But there you have it, group number 2. Go on your thought crusade, okay? Go questing into the unknown and explore those fantasy realms, because no, you're not wrong, and you are being guided there for a reason, and they are helping to expand and ascend your consciousness. So happy travels. And if you guys want to expand and really dive into your intuition in a structured way, I am offering Tarot 101. So this is a class that is coming up in January on the 3rd at 5 p.m. PST. It is going to be a live webinar / workshop on Zoom. So there's still spots available if you guys want to join in. We're going to be talking about all the basics of the tarot. We're going to look at symbolism, numerology, color theory, and we're also going to be talking about the general meanings of each card in a simplified way so that you can really get a good handle on it just to start out and then start applying it very practically in your life. So this will help you to interpret symbolism and work with these core themes, because again, we're talking about archetypes here, and expand your intuition, expand your consciousness, use tarot as a tool, not necessarily for divination or fortune telling, but for self-understanding and spiritual ascension, because that's really what I see tarot and oracle filling the role of in this day and age. So if you guys are interested, I will leave the link below in the description box. There's also a discount code. If you jump on before December 15th, you can get 20% off. It's linked below. So go ahead and sign up, and I hope to see you there. I love you guys. Happy crusades into the fantasy realms. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You guys chose the Remain Positive card. So I do feel like first of all, okay, back it up. The first thing I'm actually seeing is that you're going to be offered something. So they being spirit, the universe, your guides, they really want you to remain positive because there's something on the way that you are, I just heard, not expecting. So I don't think this is something that you have necessarily been trying to manifest or working toward. It's something you're not expecting, and they want you to remain positive because that's going to help bring it in. So let's find out. You have the Magician. Okay, maybe it is something you've been manifesting. No, they told me it's something you haven't been manifesting. It's actually something that you are manifesting it, but you're doing it unconsciously. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, you're not setting the intention. You're not writing it down. You're not, like doing a vision board on it or anything like that, but you're manifesting it in the sense that what you think and feel about this thing is influencing the results. And that's why they want you to remain positive, because if you're having any negative thoughts, negative expectations or fears, that is going to negatively influence the results of what you're manifesting or what you're creating in your reality. Let's keep going. Let's get more information for you, group number 3. What is this that group 3 is manifesting? You have the 4 of Wands. Could have to do with stability, home. They just said hearth. So the hearth is kind of like the center of the home. Can have to do with relationships, stability, and I also did just hear the word comfort. So when I think of comfort and hearth, because those are the 2 words that they gave me, it's almost like sitting on a comfy couch in front of the fire and feeling really safe and really grounded. And the time that I'm filming this is in December, so it's a timeless reading, but December is that comfy, cozy time. So it does kind of feel something like that. Could have to do with manifesting a relationship or being happy in your life with the people who you do have in your life around this time of year. Let me just get more information. We have the Judgment card reversed. Okay. We have the King of Coins. They said release judgment about stability. That's the phrase that they just gave me with the Judgment card and the King of Coins. So they want you to release any previous judgments, and I think that means, yeah, they did just give me the words negative expectation again. Okay, so basically what Spirit's trying to tell you, group number 3, is that you've been having some negative expectations about something. This could have been happening very unconsciously, but I think it may be something that you're aware of. It's not what you want to manifest, though. That's why they're bringing it to your attention and helping you to really pinpoint those times where your mind is wandering into negative thinking, maybe catastrophizing or just expecting the worst, It's like trying to predict worst possible outcome as a safety mechanism to try and protect yourself, but it's not helping you in this situation, because what they're showing me is that you're very powerful right now in terms of what you're manifesting and creating in your reality. And the more you think about that negative expectation, the more you are kind of pushing away what you want or attracting in what you don't want. Now, that's not to say that you need to be afraid of your thoughts. That's not to say that every negative thought is going to manifest as a negative outcome. No, because first of all, negative thoughts are a lower slower frequency than positive thoughts, because positive is higher frequency, which moves faster, and negative thought is lower frequency, which moves slower, which means you have more time to correct it, more time to catch it, and stop it in its tracks. So that's what they want you to do here. They want you to notice any time that you're having a negative judgment or negative expectation and flip and reverse it. So how do you do that? Well, you kind of have to, first of all, become aware of what your mind is doing. You have to observe it, and then you have to challenge it. So you have to give your mind an opposing viewpoint or an opposing belief or an opposing positive outcome. And it's not delusion when you're doing this intentionally, with awareness of and discernment above all else, because you're aware of your power and you're being responsible with your sovereignty and how you direct your thoughts and your will. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. So this could definitely have to do with relationships. Like if you have a negative expectation about how a relationship is going to go, or how a relationship could manifest if you're single or you're looking, it could be talking about that. It's like remain positive. Yeah, they just gave me the phrase, there's someone out there for you. So this could be, oh, I'm going to end up alone and I'm not going to have this relationship to feel really comfortable with, or I'm going to be all alone or through the holidays or something like that. And they're saying remain positive, because that is the vibration you want to be in when you are in this high vibrational manifestation state. And I do feel like you're a highly conscious individual, group number 3. And so pretty much all the time, you're in a high vibrational manifestation state. So that's why you need to be extra responsible with what your thoughts are doing and what you are allowing to live in your mind. Like, what are you giving space to? What are you giving energy to? And how can you alter that or switch the narrative? How can you change the story? Because you're the narrator. And sometimes we just kind of have to step in when we notice that our narrator has gone onto autopilot. And this happened to me literally earlier today. Look at that. We also have the Seven of Swords reversed. This is stopping that deceptive thinking, stopping your mind from telling you lies. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this happened to me earlier today. I was driving and, started kind of zoning out a little bit. Like, I'm paying attention to the road, but I'm kind of just thinking about things, and things are popping into my mind, and I'm like playing out different conversations with people, and it's just, that's what the mind does. And I started noticing that I was going down this continual sort of repeated cycle of, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. And Spirit, literally while I was driving, came in and was like, hey, cut that out. Stop that right now. Shut it down. And they were like, redirect. And then they had me repeat out loud, because I'm in the car by myself, so I can do that. You can repeat out loud what it is that is the opposite of that. So affirming the opposite and saying, I'm moving towards this growth, or I'm moving towards this progress, or I have this kind of security or this kind of stability, or I have this opportunity for me coming up in the future. Things like that. And, by the end of the drive, I felt a lot better. First of all, because I was able to successfully become aware of this, thanks to Spirit, and then redirect it. But also because even just affirming those things, and setting that intention and being in that energy felt like a relief. It felt better than being in that negative rumination spiral. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is challenging your own thoughts, which means facing a bit of your shadows. That's what the Seven of Swords can be about. It's facing your own shadows and moving out of self-deception or illusion, which in this case is really like these false smoke signals that your mind is sending out, saying, we're in danger, or this isn't going to work out, or this pain is going to repeat, because you also have the Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So this is like pain from the past. So another example of this could potentially be, for example, maybe you went through some painful experiences within relationships in the past, and you you unconsciously have that expectation that any new relationship you get into, or maybe the one you're in currently, is going to end badly because of what you have been through before. And what they're saying here is to check those thoughts and to really be scrutinizing with whether they're deserving of living in your mind and whether you should really be giving those energy. The other card we have here is the World card, which is the closure of a cycle. It's the ending of this. It's bringing this pattern of rumination looping, that's what they're calling it, rumination looping, bringing that to a close and realizing that Yes, what you went through in the past might have been painful, but you are a very powerful manifester right now, and you can, by remaining positive and being intentionally optimistic, this is a phrase that I've coined, intentionally optimistic, knowing that you have creator power and manifestation ability to redirect your energy, your focus, and your attention, because that is where that manifestation feedback is going to come from. And so getting out of this loop of self-torture is kind of what it feels like. Honestly, group 3, it feels a little bit like self-torture. Okay. Yeah, they want this deck now. So we're going to get some more cards from the Angel Answers. Okay, there's actually 2. There's these 2 that I see. Take action. They just said take action to interrupt the pattern. Right. So if you're stuck in a karmic loop, or you're stuck on rumination feedback, or you're stuck on autopilot, the best thing you can do is to disrupt the pattern by doing something new that you wouldn't normally do. So if you normally just sit there and ruminate, you have to interrupt it. Maybe it means like you interrupt it physically and you go, nope, we don't do that anymore. And you stand up and you go run on the spot or something, or you go out for a walk, or you call a friend. Or it could be that you notice your mind doing that, and then the new action is redirecting it and saying out loud or in your mind what the positive affirmations or the positive outcome would look like. So that kind of thing. Yeah, so taking action is going to be important here to disrupt the cycle. And then you also have get more information. This is another great technique. So like, for example, I remember when I really had a lot of trust issues, and I'm seeing that may be the case here for you guys, group number 3, with the 2 of Cups, the 4 of Wands, the 3 of Swords. Yeah, this can be like trust issues in relationships, the 7 of Swords. So from my experience with that, I'll give you this example. And I really used to have a hard time with not playing over and over again in my head the story of, oh, this person's going to cheat on me, or this person doesn't love me. And what I learned to do, and I actually learned this in therapy, so thank you to the mental health field, but this is a great manifestation technique too, was to look for additional information, like challenge that thought and basically be like, prove it to my mind, to my brain, when it was going into this loop of they don't love me or whatever it was. And it's like, prove it. And so you can go and you can look for the proof to back that up, but that's just going to confirm what you don't want. So what you would actually do is redirect it and look for proof of the opposite. Well, I could say, oh, okay, well, they do this for me. They show up for me. They communicate with me. They tell me physically every day that they love me, like these types of things. So I would actually disprove that thought. And I would do that by getting more information, by giving my mind, my brain, more information about what it was making an assumption or an overcoupled association to something from the past that it feared might happen again. So it's kind of like reconditioning your mind. And by doing so, you can take action in new ways, you can initiate new things, and therefore you can get results. Because as my mom always used to say to me, the definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you know something doesn't work and it's a waste of your time and energy, then it behooves you to find an alternative method. And in this case, they're saying, challenge the fear, challenge the doubt, challenge the negative judgment, choose the new thought, choose the direction you want to put your focus on, because that's what you're going to manifest. And especially when it comes to healing the heart and welcoming in healthy relationships, I see that that's very much a potential for you if that's what you're desiring. Or if you have a relationship right now that feels like it's on the rocks, this is definitely able to improve if you remain positive and not delusionally optimistic, but intentionally optimistic. What's the difference? Well, delusionally optimistic is the 7 of Swords becomes self-deception, where you're deceiving yourself from the truth of admitting realistically that this situation is not good for you. Whereas intentionally optimistic is challenging the delusion of it not being good for you when it is. So it's very nuanced, and it depends on your situation. If you're in a relationship that's really toxic and you keep saying, oh, if I just remain positive and manifest in that hopeful mindset, then it will get better. No, because you can't control what the other person is going to do. Manifestation does not bypass free will, especially of other people. So That's the delusional side of it. Whereas if you are in a relationship that's actually really good and your mind is just telling you that it's not going to work out for whatever reason, again, maybe because of your past, it's like these shadows. They keep showing me shadows. Look at these two cards. There's a shadow of a guy in the background, shadow of the thing here too. So it's like trickster energy. Your mind's playing tricks on you. If that's the case, intentional optimism will be your best friend, because then it will bring you back into reality. Either way, the goal is to be in reality, whether it's facing yourself with an uncomfortable truth or reprogramming your mind so that you can see the more loving truth. Either way, it's going to be helpful. So they want you to take a new action. Let's get some medicine cards, herbal medicine cards. I do want to clear it because it's just been a little while since I did the other two readings for this group. That's way too many, Spirit. They said take the one on the bottom of that pile. Okay. Reishi, retreat. Retreat. Okay. I do feel this one too. And death. Wow. Yeah. So retreat and death, these are both speaking pretty clearly to the need to put an end to something, possibly walking away from something. So let's say, for example, this was a very dysfunctional or toxic relationship. This would be like admitting the truth to yourself and then walking away, maybe taking a little bit of a retreat so that you can assess whether your truth has been distorted by unhelpful optimism. This could also be the opposite end, where you are ready for a new potential or new relationship, and to do that and not carry your baggage with you from the past, you would need to kind of retreat inward and allow that old pattern to die. It's like redirecting it kind of kills it off, you know? And quite literally in the brain, when we're talking about deconditioning and reconditioning the mind, we're quite literally killing off neural pathways. And the reason being is because neurons that fire together wire together. So those pathways that were wired for negativity will no longer become dominant. They're not going to be the knee-jerk reaction anymore of the brain. And you're kind of hardwiring a new neural pathway, which is intentional optimism. That then travels more freely. That becomes the path of least resistance. And so that becomes the more automated system. And that's what we want. We want to condition the brain to work for us rather than against us. If the brain is trying to help us, but it's working against us by doing that, it's up to us to be responsible for what it's doing. And that's where mindfulness comes in. That's where intentionality comes in. And that's where manifestation work is so, so important. Because it is what you think. It is what you feel. It is what you expect. It is what you believe you deserve. It is your pain from the past. It is these shadow things. It is your truth. So getting very clear on what that is and then using that to take action is going to create amazing results for you, group number 3, like amazing results. And for that, they really want you to remain positive, because there's something from the past that is dying out. There is a shadow from the past that has been haunting you. It's been following you around for a long time, and you're finally getting ready to let it go, is what I'm seeing. And I think to do that, it will require you to get more information about this within yourself and then take action to redirect. It's like intervention with yourself. You're intervening. And the divine is intervening by bringing you to this reading. Like, that's the whole point. That's why they got you here in the first place. We also have the 5 of Swords. So yeah, this is changing the way that you approach thought. It's changing the way that you approach relationships. It's letting go of something from the past that was painful, that created a lot of conflict for you. It's letting this die, because you're done with that. You're not in that situation anymore. You're having a fresh start right now. And to go through this rebirth process and to manifest something brand new, you do have to kind of create a new template for what it is that you want to operate at, and not continue to just kind of go on autopilot with the old system, the old way of doing it, the old template, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So if something doesn't work, stop using it. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go in with the Amenti Oracle. Let's see. You have I am humble. I am humble. Oh, like humbling yourself a little bit. I affirm that all life is sacred. The dragonfly really stood out to me there, so transformation. I just heard elevation as well, elevation. Ooh, elevate your mind. Yeah. Yeah, they want you to elevate your mind, group number 3, because that's going to help you to manifest these good results that you want. And it's going to help to protect you by redirecting you away from the negative things that you don't want, and how your mind or your neural wiring may automatically just kind of put you there. Yeah, so you're gonna deprogram that. You also have I achieve with integrity and I speak with sincerity. So words of affirmation might be helpful here, like I shared with you in the example from earlier today. And this will help you to stay in integrity. And the integrity that they're talking about here is being in that high vibrational optimistic mindset and energy, and having your actions back that up. So actions really do speak louder than words. You can speak it with sincerity, but it's really, I think, going to make it manifest, and you'll really see results if you can take action, because that's what they're telling me here. Taking action is going to be the pivotal factor in how this plays out. So taking those intervening actions by redirecting, investing in new areas of thought, new ways of doing things that the old pattern maybe wouldn't have allowed, because it kept you stuck in this mindset of fear or lack or scarcity or unworthiness, not enoughness. That's the shadow that's kind of been following you around here. So they really want you to challenge that and overcome it. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, you have the Page of Coins. This is the new investment. This is going in a different direction. This is planning for the future. Also, I see this as getting more information too. They just said make friends with your mind. Yeah, exactly. It's like your mind doesn't have to be your enemy. If your mind has been a battlefield, they really want you to understand that a little bit better, get more information about why these thoughts are there and what you can do to redirect them. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. So this will change. The power is in your hands, is what Spirit just said. The power is in your hands. So you have the free will to be able to redirect this karmic pattern, because that's what the Wheel of Fortune is. It's a karmic pattern. It is a cycle that has been repeating. But you have the power to change it by taking action and doing it in a way that's aligned with this positive integrity within yourself. That is what's going to help you to shed those shadows that have been following you around and integrate the positive expression of the life that you want to live, to truly physically experience, and that your fortune will improve. Your luck will change because you have changed. Luck is just a product of our vibration. Really, yeah, it's a product of our vibration. And the higher you can vibrate, the more introspection and shadow work and the more intentional you can be with your optimism, the higher your vibration will go and the better results that you will get. Okay, so not delusional optimism, intentional optimism. Again, I think you guys have kind of got the picture here. I don't need to kind of beat a dead horse. So I think that is everything. Let me see if there's anything else they want to share before we go. They just said the relationship harmony you seek is available to you. And I was picking up on something to do with relationships. So if that's something you've been wanting, they're making it very clear that it is available to you. There's just a couple of things you need to adjust. There's some different approaches you need to take when it comes to the mind and how your actions reflect what that mind is doing on autopilot and how you can override that. Okay, so go inward, get more information, redirect it, close the cycle, shed the shadow, remain positive, speak it into existence, make it happen. Okay, that's what I see for you, group number 3. I hope this reading helped. this was the mystery message. So there you go. And if you guys are interested in expanding your intuition, embodying more of your authentic self, and doing that by learning the tarot, learning to read cards yourself, I'm offering a Tarot 101 course this January. So if you guys want to sign up, you get a discount before December 15th. There's a 20% off early bird discount, which I linked below in the description box. So if you put that code in at checkout, you will receive that discount. Get your spot now for the January 3rd class. It's going to be a workshop style presentation where it's a little bit interactive. We're going to go into all of the card meanings of the traditional Rider-Waite, how to interpret numerology, symbolism, colors, and the general meanings of the cards, beginning to read them together and work with them in your daily life. So if you guys are interested, sign up now, and I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.